Hi, welcome to another episode of Backstage Pass with Phoenix. And today we are diving into the realm of music and also American Idol, the hit reality TV show that is very popular in this country. Well, I remember watching it when I was growing up, and that was like I remember having the phone there and like dialing and participating for my favorite people and just calling as much as possible because I wanted them to win. It's like it kind of changed reality TV when American Idol came out because you could actually participate in it, and that was so fun. And we're like 20 currently 20 like 23 seasons in, and it's still so popular. So we have Paige Anne on today, and she was actually on American Idol. She was on season 21 of American Idol, so she's going to give us all the behind the scenes of that today and the music industry. Thank you so much, Paige, for being here.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to again have you back on the show. We actually had her on for an episode, I want to say a while back. We'll have to post on.
I think it was while I was on the show.
Yeah, yeah, it was. And so we're excited to have you back and to hear where you've gone since then. So I guess we're gonna kind of start out for those who don't know you much. Tell us a little bit about how you got into singing and the industry, I guess.
Awesome. Well, I'll introduce myself. Hi, my name is Paige Anne. I'm 18 years old. I live in Idaho Falls, Idaho, but I travel around a bunch to record music. But how I really got into music was when I was 8 years old. My mom wanted me to audition for musical theater, and I was so scared, but I ended up being able to do it. And after that, I just kind of found that I had a niche for wanting to be in front of those bigger crowds and just loving to sing so much. So I just kind of started walking through every door that was put in my path. And it led me to American Idol, and I just keep, walking through those doors and hoping that one day I can hopefully share my music with the world. So,
I love that. You're doing a really good job of it. So,
yeah.
um, what led you to those American Idol doors? Did you just see an audition pop up like online, or I think you said a teacher led you to them, right?
Well, yeah. So ever since I was little, I loved American Idol. I was obsessed with David Archuleta, but he was on the show when I was like, born. But YouTube led me to all of the American Idol auditions, and I just began to have an obsession, being like, oh, I want to do that when I'm older. But what really got me on the show was my voice coach is the same voice coach as David Archuleta. So going to him, he links up a lot of people to American Idol. His name's Dean Kalen. We love him. He's a wizard. But yeah, he was actually the reason why I was able to get on the show. He introduced me to a scout, and I sent him my videos, and then that scout kind of just took it from there, and I auditioned for the show, and it was really fun.
That sounds nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. I did about I mean I when I initially auditioned I was 14 years old, and then I made it through all the Zoom process, and then at the final Zoom where I got to meet with the executive producer of American Idol, they told me I was one day too young, so I had to wait an entire year and then do it over again. So the
Oh,
second year it wasn't as scary because I kind of already was walked through it.
yeah, that makes sense. So I've seen like people lining up out the doors for American Idol auditions. I don't know if they still do it like that anymore. Is that
Mhm.
where they have like a general call and anyone can show up, or do they now you have to make it through, you have to meet a scout and then you have to make it through a certain process in order to audition?
So I know that a lot of people have had other experiences. I'm not 1,000% sure if they still do open calls. I think they might. I think they do open Zoom calls now instead of going to like cities and like bussing up and like doing all
Yeah.
that for producers. Like I think America's Got Talent still does that. I think they do Zoom and open calls because it gets them a lot of content with all those lines. But when it comes to auditions now, you have to go through a bunch of Zoom processes, and I think they take about 250 people to 300 people per city, and they do 3 cities. And then they limit that about 900 people down to 150. But it's crazy. They have like hundreds of thousands of people audition over Zoom, and then they cut it down to like that 900, and then they take it down to 150, and then they take it down to, one. So
Wow. So
it's crazy.
you had to make the cut pretty far, right?
Yeah. I mean, in Hollywood Week, I went first out of all 150 people. That was the most nerve wracking thing I think I did on the show.
Wow.
That was, it
Did
was
you know
crazy.
did you know you were going first, or they just picked you?
Well, the night before filming the first round of Hollywood Week took about 3 days. So the first day was just interviews, and I was wondering why. I was like, I keep getting pulled out first to do all these interviews, meet with my mentor, stuff like that. And I then got on a Zoom meeting that night, and they're like, okay, remember your line and then the number that you are in that line. So if you were like line one, person three, you just had to remember that. So then they would call your line, and then you'd go perform. Well, my line was line 1 1. And I just saw my picture first and I was like, I cried to my mom about it. It was 16-year-old
Wow.
me was shaking in her boots. But I conquered that fear and I did okay. So
The first audition, is that the one where you just kind of introduce yourself and then your like initial audition that we kind of see on TV?
so kind of how they do it is the producers already know everything about you before you walk in the room.
Mm.
So I'm not 1,000% sure what those little papers are that are slid in front of the judges, but they already know a little bit about you, so they know what kind of questions to ask or stuff like that. For me, my audition, they knew that I worked at a snow cone shack that summer that I was auditioning, and I like called myself like a snow cone artist. And so they're like, "You need to bring snow cones in for the judges," and I was like, "Okay," but I think that was a way to show that the judges that I was like one of the favorites because it shows producers like them. So I brought in my snow cones, and yeah, it was just like to introduce myself. But I think everything I knew about myself went out the door as soon as I looked at those three judges. It was quite terrifying.
Yeah,
But
it does sound terrifying. Yeah.
yeah, I
So,
mean, the filming process of that was 5 days, and I didn't audition until day three. And oh, the days were just long and hard. I didn't think I was signed on as a set employee, so I didn't have minor labor laws, so they could work me as much as they wanted. So
oh,
I was working like my call time would be like 6:30 in the morning, and
mm.
I'd be going till about 9:30 at night.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy. And so I'd be up at 5 a.m. I wouldn't sleep because I was like, so nervous. And then, I mean, right before my audition, I was doing B-roll on the strip of Las Vegas. And they called my mom. She didn't answer because we were doing B-roll. Finally, they called one of the producers and like, Paige, you need to go because Ryan was checking out for the day. So I had to go record a little bit with him with my snow cones. But then it also was my audition. So I had to sprint about a half mile down the strip right before my audition. So I just look like dead. And it's so funny.
Wow. Wow. So you were auditioning in Vegas, you said?
Yeah, Las Vegas.
Okay. And then you had to travel with them different places, right?
Yeah, so Hollywood Week was filmed in Hollywood, in LA. It was more downtown LA, but yeah. And then after I made it through Hollywood Week, we had Final Judgment in Malibu, which was beautiful, as at this really pretty mountainy place. And then it's in California though. And then we went to Hawaii after that. And then we were back to Hollywood, and it was actually on Hollywood Boulevard. And I would not recommend ever staying in a hotel on Hollywood Boulevard for a month and a half.
Why is that? That sounds pretty
It
busy.
was rough. It
Yeah.
was really busy, and it was just like kind of scary, but also just, I don't know, there's not very great hotels there.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's expensive.
Well, so did they put you up for all of that? Did they
Yeah.
fly you places? Okay,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah, they
good.
pay for all travel and stay.
And then you said that you were filming for 5 days, but you didn't even film your audition till day three. So what do you do the other
Mhm.
days, the other 2 days before you filmed your audition?
So it's just all B-roll. So B-roll, like interviews, all this stuff, meeting with mentors, like, and then just a lot of waiting.
Yeah,
Just sit and wait for it to be your turn. And so they'll do like B-roll and you'll be like in the background of other people's B-roll. Like there's so much you can be doing, but I just remember just sitting around so much while I was on the show
which it probably
because they have to
doesn't
get
help.
everything.
Yeah, probably doesn't help the anxiety of when you're
No,
your audition.
no, I was very nervous, but they switched up my song the day before my audition. So that also did not help.
So
But
they have a decision on what you sing.
they just strongly recommended because I was the only person that had the executive producer sit in on the rehearsal with the accompanist. And I didn't know what she really looked like before then. But yeah, I had the two head producers sit in on my rehearsal, and I had to sing them both of the songs. And they said the first song was the song that I sang. It was actually the song that I sang the first round of Hollywood Week. They said it sounded too old, and so that's why I sang "What About Us" by Pink. And then finally, once my audition didn't go really to how I want, like to plan, like it didn't go as well as I wanted it to, I still made it through, but in Hollywood Week, I was like, I'm doing the song I want. Nobody's telling me no. Thank you.
Yeah, so
So
what were the songs that you sang?
I sang What About Us in my audition and then Pull You Through by Maggie Rose for my first round of Hollywood Week.
I love it. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but I want to hear more about this behind the scenes and yeah, all of the how-tos of American Idol. So we'll be back with Paige Anne in just a few here on Backstage Pass with Phoenix. We're here with American Idol star Paige Anne. She was on season 21, and she's kind of giving us the behind the scenes view. She's in the VIP hot seat today, so we're excited to have her. She was just telling us about, how she got into the industry in the last episode, in the last segment, and also what it was like to audition, the first week of Hollywood and everything. Lots of filming, lots of waiting, which I can imagine if you've ever been on a set
Mhm.
anywhere, there is a whole lot of hurry up and wait. So and then you said you were the first to audition of 150 people on that first week, right? And so that was really
Hollywood,
nerve-wracking.
yeah.
Yeah, of Hollywood Week. And you had 2 days of filming and then you finally filmed your audition. So that seems nerve-wracking. Who were the judges on your season when you walked into that door?
Lionel Richie, Katy Perry, and Luke Bryant.
What was it like when you saw them?
I mean, my mouth just was dry. I've never had that problem. It just went hot and dry. And I remember just being like, oh no, oh no. And so I just like, faked it till I made it. And then, I mean, oh, it was so scary. I remember when I was singing my song, I just like went back to my 8-year-old roots and my vibrato just really came out. It was like that classical training was really coming through in that moment, which we don't really want, but it was really funny. I look back on it now and I'm like, wow, I've really grown since then. But yeah, it was really nerve wracking. That was probably the scariest thing I did on the show. Those
So,
first 2 rounds of the show were terrifying.
what was the second round like?
Hollywood Week. So that was where I went first out of 150 people.
Oh, okay. So you
Yeah,
saw
and I had
the
to sing in
judges.
front of every single one of them.
Oh, wow. So the first time you sang was not Hollywood Week, but you still were singing
No.
for the judges. Okay.
Yeah, so how the structure works is you audition in your audition city. There's 3 audition cities, and I was in Las Vegas, so I was the first audition city. There's about 900 people that audition. There's about 300 people that audition in Vegas, and then like maybe 50 people make that and go to Hollywood Week, and then all the other cities they all combine those people. So then
Mm.
once you make it to Hollywood Week, there was performance round. That was the first round of Hollywood Week where I went first out of everyone. And then after that, if you made it through that, they cut it down in half, and there was about 85 people left. And then it took us to duets, and then they cut that in half, and then we had the top 55. And then once we got to the top 55, it was final judgment, and they did showstoppers, and then it was cut down to top 26, and then so on.
Well, it seems like such a high pressure show. Like, I mean, obviously
It
you're
is.
competing, and you're in front of the entire nation, and a lot of the nation is watching in some form or another. So, what kind of things did you do to calm your nerves to be able to perform?
I mean, definitely reaching out to the people around me. I mean, people would think that when you're in that type of scene, it's really competitive, but it really wasn't. I mean, there's definitely people that took it way too seriously, but I mean, that's okay. But I made some of the closest friends that I will probably keep for the rest of my life on the show. And so definitely just reaching out to the people around you. I mean, my mom was a big support system for me. Uh, and I mean, my voice coach, I called him all the time and he just, settled my nerves. But I definitely think just reaching out to the people around you is one way to really calm your nerves. I mean, breathing, actually eating food is really good. Yeah, I mean, that's just my personal experience, but I've never really struggled with getting nervous until then. So it was like panicking,
Mm.
very panicky, more so than just like, oh, I'm scared. It was like, oh, why am I scared for this?
Yeah. So
So
when you're out on the stage, can you see all the people sitting there, or do they?
yeah,
It's you can see it. That sounds
yeah. So when
nerve-wracking.
that's why I was so scared to go first because they had every single person in the audience to do B-roll. Like
Mm,
they had all the contestants in the audience. And then they had the 3 judges right there. So they did B-roll during mine. And then most people didn't have everyone in the audience.
mm.
So it was quite scary, but made it through, and that's all
So
that
at that
matters.
point, were you used to singing in front of people at least, or were
Oh
you
yeah.
used to? Okay, so you had a lot of performance experience
Oh
by.
yeah. It's easier when you can't see their faces. So like when I perform in front of thousands of people, that's easier for me than performing in front of littler crowds.
Right,
So like when I walked in the audition room, that was terrifying because it was like singing for 3 people and they're only staring at you.
right.
And they're like trying to nitpick you. That I hate. But like singing like the national anthem is one of my favorite things to do because I'm just singing to arenas full of people, and it's like they're standing, they're listening to you, and oh, but you can't see any of their faces, and if they're judging you, you can't tell.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I first walked out on that stage, it was more just like it was a totally different ball game because every single person in that audience can sing. Those three judges, I mean, I walked into Hollywood Week with a no from Katy Perry. Like I was at the bottom and I was just trying to work my way up, but that was a lot of pressure being at the bottom after like working already really hard to get to the point where I could even audition. And then the producers being like, "Oh yes, we love you," and then change your song. And then I'm like, "Okay, I'm finally doing what I want. I hope the producers like it enough, and I hope that the judges like it enough." And it ended up working out in my favor. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot dogging on me, if that makes sense. Like it
Right.
was the weight was pretty heavy walking into Hollywood Week because everyone was like, "Okay, you need to do better," and I was like, "I know, I will do better."
That's a lot to put on your shoulders as you were like 16 then, right?
Fresh and 16.
And I
Yeah.
guess 15 when you started your journey because you had to wait
Yeah.
a year, right? Wow.
I was 14 when I started my journey.
Oh, 14. That's so
Yeah.
much younger. A 14-year-old. But um, so when do an American Idol audition, when are they held?
So I know they do the open calls throughout the summer on Zoom. And then if you make it through that, they start filming my experience. I know they've been switching things up this last year, but they film auditions September, October, November. And then my year, they held Hollywood Week in December. And then uh, Hawaii was in February. They usually go like Super Bowl weekend. If you're ever wanting to watch American Idol film at the Disney Aulani Resort, they
Oh,
film
nice.
Super Bowl weekend. It's that Sunday and Monday. But then we filmed yeah, Hollywood Hawaii in February, and then we went to lives starting in March, April. It was May, I think. I would have to look, but I think yeah, we went in May and we started recording the live shows, but everything was pre-recorded up until that top 20 show.
So how did they, so that's a long time to be part of the show. And then,
Mhm.
but right now their season, I guess that makes sense because the season has just started as currently as we're filming this episode. The
Yeah.
season has recently started, I think, just like last week. I think the new season.
Yeah, it was last weekend, and they probably filmed their auditions. Like my audition aired 6 months. Like it was literally on my half birthday that it aired, and I turned 16 3 days before my audition. So it was like exactly 6 months old.
Wow. So then, so they start airing those auditions, and then you're currently filming ads because I guess it has some of it has to be live, right? Because you
Yeah.
guys, the audience gets to vote. So,
Yeah. My audition aired they start auditions about 2 weeks after they start. Well, they air auditions, yeah, 2 weeks after they film in Hawaii.
okay.
Yeah,
This
because
is
if you
so
ever
fun.
see anything with Ryan with a black screen behind him, it most likely was filmed in Hawaii, but they're
Ah,
airing it for auditions.
there
So,
you go. So you got to be
yeah.
in like what was it, Malibu in December or something?
No, so yeah, in December we were in Hollywood Week. So I was
Okay.
in downtown LA and then we moved to Malibu for Final Judgment. I think only the minors got to stay in Malibu, but we filmed in Malibu and it was beautiful. They had like chandeliers hanging from the tree.
Oh
The tree was
yeah.
so pretty. But
It
yeah.
was very pretty. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to see where Paige has gone from there and maybe get to a couple more of your guys' questions about American Idol. This has been so fascinating. We'll be back here on Backstage Pass with Phoenix. The new season currently, from when this has been recorded, the new season of American Idol just came out last week. So American Idol's on the brain, and we have Paige Anne on with us. She is from season 21, so she's kind of giving us a sneak peek of what it was like to be on American Idol. And you had mentioned at the last segment that you're like, I think I changed a lot, or I've learned a lot since then. I don't
Mhm.
know if you meant, your audition wise or performance wise, but how do you think that you have changed since your experience on American Idol?
I mean, for being 2 years ago, I mean, I was just already in such a developmental, if that's even a real word, but I mean, I was just in such a transitional stage in my life.
Hmm.
because I was, freshly 16 years old. That's kind of where you figure out like who you want to be. And so I went on the show thinking I just like to sing. And then it was like, oh, wait, I actually need to have artistry. So growing throughout that, I kind of figured out what I like, what my brand is. And so after being on the show, I mean, it's just been a constant battle of like what I want to be, like what my brand is. Like, I need a color palette
No.
to be a singer. It's crazy. Like, I need to be able to be someone that you could dress up for as for Halloween. Like, and so just learning what I like in my music, in my style, and everything has just been such a fun journey to be on. And I feel like that's really the path I'm going down right now. It's just still figuring out who I am as an artist, as a person, and just kind of really nailing that down. So then by the time I feel ready, I can, put myself out there more so that I can maybe get picked up by a label, something like that, to, spread my artistry to the world. But I really have been working hard on just like figuring out my sound, style, and brand.
So is there somebody that walks you through this? How do you know these things like I need a color palette? Do you just is this something that you YouTube or is there somebody that's like, hey, let me show you the ropes?
I mean, while I was on American Idol, we got to talk with a lot of record labels. Like they were looking to sign people, but a lot of people went there like already knowing their artistry, already knowing all this. But I was really young. I was from Idaho. I didn't really know much about it. And so that really taught me what I need to know just based off the questions they would ask me about myself.
Mm.
And my almost always my answer would be, and I would just like make something up, to fill the void. But I was like, wow, I really need to get this nailed down. And so it's really hard though, because I don't have anyone walking me through it. I'm doing this basically by myself, but I have a lot of connections where I can, throw ideas to other people and have them give me their thoughts. But it's definitely really hard to try and figure out who I am. And yeah, I wish I had somebody walking me through it, but
I
nope, I'm
know.
doing it
There,
completely by myself. We're
that's the
working
funny
hard.
thing about the entertainment industry, and this is why we do this show, is because there isn't anybody to walk us through the entertainment industry, but it's all about what you know and who you know. And so
Yeah.
I hope that you guys are getting that from this interview. That Paige can be your little mentor today. Um, so so you said color palettes. Can you describe to us so far what you've come up with as far as your branding, like your colors, your style, your artistry?
Mhm.
What would you say your brand is?
I mean, for me right now, I'm definitely loving the more pop genre. When it comes to colors, I am not the biggest fan of big, bright colors. I've learned that about myself. I'm like, oh, I don't like neon colors, so I stay more in like the darker colored realm. I I really like maximalism. I know that about myself. I love jewelry. I love cool nails. Like I love all that. And so when it comes to like my covers, you'll kind of see that in my like song covers. Like starting from eighth grade, I was more in the brighter color region, but now that I'm kind of figuring out what I like, if you look at my song covers, like you'll see like, oh, I'm kind of seeing that color palette. On the Instagram you'll see, oh, I'm kind of seeing that color palette because I've just kind of incorporated it into my everyday life, which is such a funny thing that I have to focus on that, but it's kind of fun. And I mean, when it comes to my sound, I have been trying so many different types of like genres of music. I've done rock, I've done alternative pop rock, I've done pop rock, I've done just basic pop, I've done like anything just to figure out what I like and what my fans like, stuff like that. And I mean, it's a crazy journey and it's like such nitpicky things that I have to focus on, but it's so important if you want to have like an artist brand or stuff like that. So,
So do you kind of come up with your schedule? Because as an artist, you don't really have a 9 to 5 necessarily. It's kind of all self-driven. So do you kind of come up with your own schedule of like, I'm gonna wake up, this is how I'm gonna find my the research or my data from my fans, or how do you do your daily career?
I mean, it is really hard to keep up motivation. It's super hard to keep up motivation. So I feel for everyone out there that is like, I just can't get up and like do it because as somebody who struggles with that, like I mean, it's hard, but one thing I found is just like really focusing in on what I love to do. So even if I don't record any content that day, if I just play my guitar, that's a good day. I mean, today, if I do my interview and I go and play my guitar and I practice a new song, that's a good day. I take it really slow because I mean, I struggle with ADHD, I struggle with all that. So sometimes I'm like really hyper fixated on it and I'm like, okay, we're going to really grind this out. So like I'll post like 3 songs in one day or I'll make 12 videos for 2 weeks
Hmm.
in one day. And then it's like, wow, okay. But some days I'm like, I really am just not interested in this. It's really hard to keep up that motivation because it's not constant. And that I think is the hardest part. Like you have to go out and you have to get it. You have to seize those opportunities because you can't
Right.
it's just how that works. You can't sit around every single day, but I think it's good to have days to breathe. I mean, I travel a lot, and so when I have a day to, do my laundry and just reset, kind of actually live at home for a little while, it's really nice. And those are days I don't focus on music, but definitely building your own schedule is super hard.
Yeah.
It's super hard and it's really hard to keep that motivation, but I mean, it's definitely worth it if you can
Yeah.
keep up discipline. So,
Right. And I think that that's a good point to point out to those who are trying to break into the industry, like learning how to be self-motivated, learning how to keep your own schedule, learning how to keep yourself motivated are huge
mhm,
skills to enter into the industry because it is a
it
self-driven.
is.
Nobody's handing you something. Everybody thinks as soon as you get an agent, as soon as you get this or that, somebody's going to hand you something. No one's really handing you stuff in the industry. You're
The
having to,
work never stops.
yeah, it's the hustle. It's the hustle.
The
So
hustle.
if you had to do American Idol over again, or if you were to get to American Idol over again, what things would you do again, and what things would you do differently?
I have a list that I've thought of after 2 years. I would definitely go into it not thinking it's a competition. At my audition, I was really scared of everyone. I wouldn't do that. I would go and I'd make a lot of friends. I didn't make very many friends till Hollywood week. So for auditions, I would go make a lot of friends and I wouldn't think of it as a singing competition. It's not a singing competition. You have to be the best character.
Mm,
You're a character in their show. It's not about how good you sing,
yeah,
unfortunately. So
it's
I
true.
definitely would go into it with that mindset. And like really be true to myself. In my audition, I tried to be, like your all American girl. And then finally going into Hollywood week, I started like, getting into my style more, but I overthought it so much. So I wouldn't overthink as much as I did. Going into Hollywood week, I mean, I had a little bit of a knot in my Hollywood week. I got COVID. So I didn't get to experience the second half of Hollywood week.
Oh,
So yeah, I had to stay in my room for 8 days.
ugh.
But I didn't show a single symptom. So definitely taking care of myself was really good on my part. But I mean, the things I would do differently is definitely just stay out of my head. Like, don't overthink it because I was so in my head and I'd get like, even when I got called back into the top 26, I was so in my head because I was like, do I even deserve to be here?
Hmm.
And so just always know that you deserve to be there. If
Yes.
everything happens for a reason, and I wish I could go back and tell my little self that everything happens for a reason. I am meant to be there. Like the only thing stopping me is myself at that point.
I
So
think that that's really good. As we've done, as I've done these interviews of people in the entertainment industry, we kind of hear that resonate throughout is like you belong in the room. And that
mhm.
carries on to no matter what career, whether you're in the entertainment industry or any other career or any other facet of your life, just knowing that you belong in the room can go so far to your success on a daily basis
Yeah.
and in the long run. I think
It's
that's wonderful advice. Yeah.
I
And
think I taught lessons this past year, and I think the one thing that I always wanted to leave my students with, I was a keynote speaker this last about a week and a half ago at BPA, and I think the one message that I love to leave with people is fake it till you make it. Nobody knows what you don't know, and if you can have that confidence, if you just carry yourself with confidence, it'll take you wherever you want to go.
I
So.
think it's beautiful. Well, we're going to wrap up with some more advice from Paige Anne because she's a pro already. She's got so much experience under her belt as at just 18 years of age. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back to wrap things up here with Paige Anne from American Idol on Backstage Pass with Phoenix. Today, we're talking American Idol with Paige Anne, and it's been such a fun conversation and so enlightening. Not only do we get some exclusive backstage, memories from Paige Anne of American Idol, what it was like to do Hollywood Week, what it was like to film, what it was like to be in front of the judges and perform, and all that. But also, she's given us some advice, and we only have a couple minutes left, so I have a couple questions here. But we talked about things you would do differently, things that you do the same if you were on American Idol again. What was it like
Mhm.
when you had to leave American Idol? I guess I guess take us back to the feelings that you had, but also reflecting on it, why do you think that you had to leave after, at that time? Like, do you think there was something that you could have done differently? We kind of talked.
So I mean, when I initially, I lost American Idol twice. So I'm a pro at getting cut off American Idol. I initially, when I got COVID-19, I was in my room for 8 days. And then I went to final, they finally let me out on my fight against the girl who got runner up on the show. I lost that sing off. And then they asked me to be the first alternate because I handled getting cut the first time so graciously. Like I was fine. I was just happy to be out of my room, honestly.
Uh-huh.
And they asked me to be the first alternate. So then somebody dropped out of the top 26. I was put back in 3 days before we were supposed to leave for Hawaii. So I had to get my
Wow.
song together, wardrobe together, everything. Flew off to Hawaii. So, and then I made it into the top. I got cut at top 12. So when I was standing on that stage, I mean, I had already been cut once. I was just thankful to be there, honestly. Like, there wasn't much that I could do to change it because I was nobody. My journey on American Idol was really confusing. Even to this day, like I still get caught up. I'm like, oh wait, that happened and then that happened. Like I had so many things happen that I feel like it was just really confusing. I also didn't have a story. Like I was just a girl from Idaho living her life on American Idol, and so that's also really hard to follow because no one could really resonate with that. So, I mean, there's not much I could do to change it. And I feel like where I got cut was like the perfect sweet spot. Like I got the exposure I needed, but I didn't really want to go any further. I wanted to go home.
Yeah.
I missed my family, I missed my friends. And I mean, the one thing I don't know. I just wish I wasn't so hard on myself in the when I first initially got back into the top 26. Like, I mean, when on top 20 show, if you watch it, you see me cry throughout the entire thing because they played this edit and it just showed everything that I went through throughout the show and it just sunk in right in that moment. Right before I went on the stage, I was like, "Holy crap. I have been put through hell and back and
Yeah.
I'm still here." Like
Yeah.
it was awesome. And so that performance, top 20 definitely wasn't my best performance. So when I went to top 12, I was like, oh, I know dang well I'm getting cut, but I'm
Yeah.
just happy to be here. And
Wow.
so that's one of the main reasons why I chose I Am Here by Pink to sing for top 12 because I was like,
Oh,
yeah, so
that's so touching. I love it. You've shared so much of your journey, and I think that that has
it was
been,
cute.
yeah, it's been so amazing to hear
Yeah.
your journey. You ha had said that you're just a girl from Idaho, and so I wanted to hear for other people that may be coming from Idaho or other small towns. What advice do you have? Like, do you feel like you can make it from a small town, or what is the benefit of coming from a small town?
I mean, in a small town, you're one of one. In bigger areas, it's very flooded with people with your same talent. Like, unfortunately, you'll never be the best, which
Hmm.
sucks.
Yeah.
But like, I love going to Nashville because then you can make connections with people like you. But you can't look at because like going into the entertainment industry as a competition in the beginning.
Hmm.
Once you make your once you make your stance, then you can work towards being I'm number one. But in the beginning, you have to just network, make friends. Don't look at it as a competition because that won't get you anywhere. Oh, I mean, coming from a small town, I mean, definitely just being willing to leave and go and network with people. I mean, I do want to move to Nashville at some point in my life, but it's so expensive. So save your money and just travel. And I mean, social media has been such a great thing in my life so that I can reach out to those people and so I can not have to leave my home so soon and travel to do what I love. But I mean, we have been so blessed with social media to be able to reach out to so many people at once because in the olden days, you had to live in those utopia, like in that area where
Yeah.
everyone was.
Yeah.
And so it's really lucky that we have social media to use as a platform to reach out to all those people now.
I think that's inspirational for a lot of people who, don't want to leave their homes or don't
Mhm.
want to live in those big cities that you can do it
Yeah.
now wherever you are really. So, where have you gone now? Like what are you doing now since American Idol?
I mean, I travel around and I record music. I meet new people. I do a lot of gigs almost every weekend. I'm traveling around doing gigs, performing with my guitarist, Judd Erickson. And I mean, it's been a really fun experience to be able to open for people, just sing in front of like I still sing at bars because I have to pay the bills somehow. But I mean, I go and I do these shows and I just meet new people, make new fans all the time. And I mean, it's just all about the slow build.
Yeah.
I wish it would be just quick that I would get to the top, but I'm thinking that if I just continue doing what I'm doing, everything will work out and everything will happen for a reason, and I'll be where I'm meant to be. So
I think that that's a really smart way to go about the industry for sure. And I think that that's really the reality of it. You know, people
yeah,
always think that you get handed the golden ticket and then you're at the top. But even if you get handed the golden Hollywood ticket, you still have to hustle. You still have to work for your dream, no matter where
yeah,
you are in the journey. So, you have a new song, right? That you're gonna give us. You're gonna play for us. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
So this song is the first love song you'll ever hear me release. I have a
Mm.
crush. So I was gonna
Oh.
release it on Valentine's Day, but then I was like, oh, that's too cringy. But yeah, I finally wrote a cringy love song, and so this one is called Love Songs, and it's coming out April 12th, but I'm giving you guys a little sneak peek. So
Ooh, that's awesome. So if people want to follow more of
yes.
your music or more of you, where can they go?
So all my social media is the Paige Anne. I think my Instagram is the Paige Anne official though. But if you go to my Instagram, there's a link that'll take you to everything. So yeah, you can also just Google me and that'll take you to everything. So
It's Paige, Paige, Paige Anne, and then Anne with an E,
yep,
Anne.
with an E. Yes.
And then your music is on those social
Yep.
platforms or
All over Spotify, any streaming platform.
okay, wonderful. Well, you have given us so much advice and behind the scenes goodies. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited
So
to
much
see
for
where your
having
career
me.
blossoms. Yeah, of course. And go check her out, the Paige Ann Official on Instagram. And check out this new song. We're going to play it right here, right now on Backstage Pass with Phoenix.
Change of scenery, I like the view up here. It's all new to me, a whole new stratosphere. You take me places, babe, I've never seen before. Might be cringe for me, but I've never been more sure. I wanna watch stars on the rooftop of a skyline building. I wanna do things with you I always said I wouldn't. I said I'd never fall hard, get lost in your eyes, give up my precious freedom.